my plan for this evening is, well, I'll show you the little study I've done in a minute, but just to say how I'm going to work with my materials, I'm going to work directly with my paintbrush, and I'm using just ordinary cartridge paper, so I'm not going to put lots and lots of wet colour down on the page. I'm only going to put a minimal amount to suggest the colour of the berries and the leaves and the little twiggy bits. And once I've got that composition plotted out on my paper, I might just do a little small bit of it. Doesn't matter. You don't have to do the whole thing. I'm going to then refine the painting with my fine liner, and I'm using a fine liner this evening. I've got a couple here. They're both black. Okay, this one is a Pilot 0.7. Can you see it? Sorry, 0.7. And this is also, I think, an 0.7. Oh, no, this is an 0.3. Okay. They're fine liners, so they have a nib that looks like that. If you can just see, I'll put the camera on in a minute and you'll be able to see things a bit better. So I've got my palette with my brushes. Sorry, it looks a bit of a mess, but I mixed up some colours earlier on. And I've got some water and paper towel. Yeah, and so those are all ready. As I was saying to the others, if you want to draw your subject, whether it's just a few berries and a few leaves, that's fine. If you want to draw it first with pencil, so you get the shapes in the right place, that's fine. And then drop the watercolour in. Now, I'm just going to show you a few things before you start. I'm sorry that the others aren't here yet, but they'll just have to catch up. This was done last year. Would you like me to go in closer? It's just pen and ink with a little bit of watercolour dropped in, okay? I haven't set mine up anything like this today, so this was just the way I set it up before. I have used the paint very minimally, all right? So I used, I think, one colour for the berries and a couple of greens for the leaves. Okay, I didn't sort of start modelling them or overlaying washes or doing very much, simply because this paper will not take it. It's just straightforward drawing paper that I'm working on. Then once I'd actually dropped the colour in, I did use a little bit of cross hatching here and there, which I hope you can just about see. And I used the fine liner to sort of sharpen up the shapes and the composition. Okay, so that was that one. This one is pretty similar. A little bit more work on that one. And then this afternoon, I did this one here. Okay. These are these big chunky berries, the crab apples, I think they are, and flowering cherry. And I was just experimenting, really. I started by using a brown pen and ink and a fine, it's a felt tip actually. I just didn't think it was right, so I decided to go back and use my black pen again. This one was done again a while ago. I think it was done last year, in fact. And this is on watercolour paper. So if you really want to work on watercolour paper, you can, but it needs not to be too rough because it won't take the pen very well. Okay, so I expect most of you have got ordinary cartridge and will want to just stick with that. We were doing holly berries and leaves, and I haven't got any holly berries at the moment, so I thought I'd just start with what I had in the garden. And then maybe next week we can steer it more towards a sort of Christmassy theme, okay? So if you'd like to all get going with that, if anybody wants to ask me anything at any point, please do.
I don't understand how you got the colour just in the right place before you put the lines in?
I literally drew, I'll show you. So if I take some red to represent my berries, and I'm going to restart this little area here. I start with the berry closest to me.
Yeah.
I hope this is big enough and you can see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I suggest its shape. Now there's some light coming in from the left, so I've got to just leave a little bit of white paper. So berry number one. Berry number two is just I'm going to do the one that's literally just behind it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And remember, you can use your paper towel to lift out things like I'm doing now, so that I leave that little bit of highlight in there. And that's just how I proceed with it. So no pencil drawing as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, I really, if you want to use a pencil, please feel that you can.
No.
What I might do is just a little section of this, and then, you know, and then we'll look at each other's and see how we're getting on with it. Fat berries.
No. No.
Okay, so that's just my first little bit of watercolor. Okay, and at this point, I'm now going to, if it's these berries are more or less dry, I'm going to start to put in a little bit of pen and ink, but I actually might dry it with a hairdryer. I've got a hairdryer here, so. And rather than put more watercolor, I'm just going to use a little bit of cross hatching, not much.
Mm.